Oh, that means I can't say anything in like the waiting room, like all the naughty language I slip in before I hit record. Now it's recorded. All right. Coming in, coming in. It's 8:01. We'll get going at 8:02. Is it funny? I don't know if it works. So those of you who have never met me before, I will introduce myself, but I teach virtual workouts, yoga, physical, group training, all the things. And so I'm pretty sure it says when you're waiting in the waiting room, like roll out your mats. We'll get started soon. Like I feel like it still says that, which is so funny because that's not what we're doing right now. Which that would be fun too. All right. Okay, so if I peek over to the right, it's just because I'm letting more people in. I don't have a fun assistant today somewhere who usually lets people in, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm swinging solo. All right, so we are already recorded, which is so fun. So many familiar faces that makes my heart literally skip a beat, and then so many new faces, which makes my heart do like backflips, which is really exciting. It is, how did we get to May already? Like I have no idea. It's May 17th, halfway through the month. Holy Toledo, we have arrived. If you're anywhere that's a little bit noisy, feel free to just mute yourself. And I can't mute myself, but I have no idea what is going to happen above me because my husband is with the children upstairs and we'll see what happens. All right, so we're going to get to know each other real fast. If you don't know me, trust me, you're going to get to know me real quick, especially this type of event. I'm Serena, and I will be your co-host on this hormonal journey this evening, with you will. Still letting people in. So fun, so exciting. My life is literally in chaos right now. Not just trying to speak and let people in, but I literally just moved from New Jersey to Virginia today, right now. It's all happening right now. But you know what? It's things like this, it's moments like this and evenings like this that all these touchy-feely subjects, they knock my socks off. And I would literally take my socks off right now to show you. I couldn't cancel, literally could not cancel an event like this. So my children and my husband are all locked upstairs with a box of goldfish and an iPad. And that's just how it's going to work. He's like, can we take the Nintendo Switch and hook it up upstairs? And I said, no, you read the kids a book and then they go to bed. He's like, oh man. Okay, that's where we are here. All right, so before I introduce our very pure gold speaker, let me just give you like a Reader's Digest on why you are here, and why I'm here. I discovered a very brand new life about 2 years ago, and guess what? It sucked. It actually sucked. It sucked the life out of me. One day I woke up and it actually felt almost as if it happened overnight. I was a wreck. I was a wreck emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, any Lee. I had it. I had weird weight gain, dull skin, wild mood swings, insomnia, gut issues. Goodness gracious, I was like a walking, talking, screaming. I wasn't even talking. I was a walking, screaming disaster. And then one day, my phone rang. And it was one of my best friends, still letting people in. It was one of my best friends. And she said, I think I'm going to leave the current company that we were with. And she told me, I want to take you with me. I was also at that past company. She said, I'm taking you with me. Well, my gut, which was in shambles, might I add, it just said, you know what, Serena, you stick it out. You stick it out where you don't feel super, super great. But you just got to write it out. Being unhappy and unsettled. But my heart and my true self, not my ego, right? Your ego is not your ego. My true self literally said, if you're in a loud place, do me a favor and mute. My true ego was like, you know what? I need to take a look at this. I need to see what this so-called, because I didn't know, what this so-called legacy company had to offer. So long story longer, bear with me. Personalized vitamins, pure, potent, clinical study after clinical study, 300 wellness products. Man, I was like, I can really help a ton of women. I can make a really incredible impact here. But you know what? First, I'm gonna help myself. I'm gonna help myself. And I did. 2 years later, I'm 40 years old, and I am telling you, I am.
A meeting.
I feel like it's like a, you know, when it's a birthday and someone says like I'm 40 and fabulous.
I have
Like,
chicken nuggets
beautiful.
if you want some.
I hate that. I feel 40 and fabulous. I'm not gonna lie. I really, really, really do. The old me would not have done an 8 o'clock Zoom call to talk about whatever we were talking about in the middle of transitioning from a different state the same day. I would never have said yes to this. So when I say, you guys, you're in good hands. I had no idea that the minor changes that I made, and by mastering my body, that would have monumental impact on my day-to-day. So that's it. That's why you're here. Okay. You're here because someone invited you from our very cool, very rad, very filled with heart team, because they thought that you might get a kick out of learning about your hormones. So some of you on this call, you might have, okay, you ready for this? You might have leaky boobs. You might have difficulty concentrating. You might have a poor memory. You might have a loss of libido. You might have a really, really weak immune system. And you're not like the rest of us, okay? Because you're experiencing postnatal depletion. You're coming off of that baby high. That's not, I'm not there. You're coming off that baby high. Well, some of us are going through something called perimenopause. Why do they call it perimenopause? Why is it called perimenopause? Because mad cow disease was taken. This ish is no joke. I mean, am I right? And then the remainder of our group might be experiencing, I don't know, a desert-like atmosphere, AKA hot flashes, maybe a lack of period prediction, and a whole slew of other issues. Either way, ladies, we are in this together, okay? So do me a favor, if you're not driving, will you chat your name if it's not attached to you, where you're from, and who invited you, and any other words you want to say. If you want to throw in anything you're experiencing, even the leaky boobs part, it's totally okay. Courtney's giggling because she's just going to throw that in there. How could she not? Mary's like, I am not putting that. Even if I had it, I would not put it. So again, we're in this together. Feel free to chat throughout this party. Pretend it is like a party. If you're not already a part of the wellness club that we have on Facebook, I will jot the link that will take you directly there. Because trust me, you guys, when I say that it takes a badass village of women to overcome this intense, beautiful, wildly incredible journey of womanhood, it does, right? So buckle up, get your notebooks out. Let's get ready to dive in. And so without any further delay, oh, hi, Susan from Brooklyn, New York, with constipation and nausea. I mean, here we go. We're already getting close. Let's do this. Without further delay, please allow me to introduce my very dear friend of, like 2 minutes or maybe 20 years. Yes, friends for 20 years. Michael told me not to say this because he said it sounded super naughty. So I'm absolutely going to say this. She is the hummus to my pita. I just love her so much. And she's going to blow your hormonal mind, which I thought that sounded naughtier. All right, so take it away, Zaina. Let me go ahead and find you in the Hollywood squares. There you go.
You are the best. I'm dead. We know each other so well that when she said knock my socks off, I thought, she's that psycho that sleeps with socks. And I know that because we've been friends for 20 years.
Love you all day.
Anyways, Serena is all heart, if you guys know, right? You're on her team or you've been invited or you just heard her speak. I am going to give you the nerdy information, but here is my job. And I'll tell you guys all about who I am and how I ended up over here. But what my job is to give you all the nerdy research, but I'm going to do my best to deliver it in a way where you have a bunch of aha moments. Okay. So here's what I want you to do in the chat thread. Okay. Because this is really exciting for me and it lets me know I'm doing my job really well. Anytime you hear something that's like an aha moment, I want you to type aha in the chat. Okay.
How do you
All
spell
of you
that?
who are
A
driving.
H A.
A-H-A. Aha. Let's do a practice run. Aha. So I'm going to drop a ton of nuggets on you guys. I'm going to share my presentation. I want to take all this nerdy, geeked out info, and I'm going to deliver it in a way that makes sense for each of you and hopefully give you so many aha moments about your body and what you may or may not be going through. Okay. So let me pull up my presentation.
Let me make you
And share screen. I think it said I could. Yep. Okay. All right. You guys can all see my slides, right? All right. So let's jump in. Let's talk about resetting our hormones naturally. Okay. So a little bit about me. When I had my daughter, I was 36 and I'll be honest, it was easy. It wasn't easy to get pregnant. I actually struggled with miscarriages, which I found out later kind of played into everything. But pregnancy itself, once she stuck, right? It wasn't a hard pregnancy. And after pregnancy, it actually wasn't too crazy to get back to feeling like me. Even though she was the world's worst sleeper, she was a colicky baby, I did not struggle physically with how I felt. I actually felt really good. With my son, it was another story. And I think I'm in charge of admitting. So if I take a minute, guys, it's because I'm hitting the admit button.
Oh, yeah.
With my son, I did not feel like myself, no matter what I did. And I had him a little bit later. So he's 2.5. I'm 41.5 right now. And it was crazy that it seemed like such a short, time difference that I would experience such a different pregnancy. And it wasn't just pregnancy that changed me. And I know that because even after enough time had passed, I still did not feel right. Something was off. And it was what I found out later, definitely my hormones playing a role into it. And it wasn't hormones that happened in the last year or two. It's probably 15 to 20 years of certain things that affected my hormones. So whether you are 20 years old, 30 years old, 60 years old, just know that this is something that takes a while to occur. So imbalanced hormones is a result of so many things that happen in our past. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, this can still apply to you later. And it's still so important to make certain habits a priority in your life and certain habits not a priority in your life to ensure naturally balanced hormones. All right. So signs of imbalanced hormones. Okay. Unexplained weight gain. So I don't mean explained weight gain, like every single day you sit down with Ben and Jerry on the couch, like that's explained weight gain, right? This is unexplained weight gain. You're like, I don't understand what's going on because everything in my life has stayed the same. I'm eating the same foods for the most part. I still, I used to enjoy a drink here and there, just like I am now. Nothing has drastically changed. Okay. Inability to lose weight. Okay. So you are working out, maybe you hire a trainer, you start following some meal plan you found online, and you're like, I don't understand why things don't work. For me, I did the same things that used to work before, and then they didn't, which was really weird because it's like, wait a minute, they worked. I knew they worked. So why would they not work now? Cravings for salt or sugar, usually after a meal. So it's not hunger. Stubborn fat around the middle area or stubborn fat around your thighs. And there's two different kinds of hormones that affect this. Lack of energy throughout the day that is unexplained. It's not because you stayed up and partied till 3 o'clock in the morning and you're like, I'm a little tired. No, this is lack of energy. Although you may have slept well, there isn't a direct correlation that you know of. Working out doesn't seem to help, right? So you're doing these workouts. In fact, sometimes it might actually feel like it's making things worse. Bloating, digestive issues, infrequent bowel movements. So anything that is not a daily bowel movement. So if you are not having a bowel movement every single day, that would be something that we'd have to look at. That's a sign of imbalanced hormones. Brain fog and trouble focusing. Okay. So if you're listening to me right now and you're really trying to pay attention, but it's difficult, right? If that's happening constantly, it's not like a one-time thing. You're experiencing this over and over. Okay. And you don't know why. Okay, so now let's shift and talk about signs of postnatal depletion. So if you've had a baby in the last maybe couple of years, or pregnant, right? Like, and I know this is a sensitive topic. It's one that I went through. So I didn't realize it, but even when I miscarried, this was still throwing me off quite a bit, right? So constantly tired and overwhelmed, deep and persistent fatigue, constant state of hypervigilance, anxiety. You're constantly feeling like you're on, like you just can't turn off. Poor memory, poor immune function. So you're just getting sick over and over and you can't figure out why. Poor gut health, worsening of existing medical conditions, high stress, which leads to high cortisol. So we're going to dive into a lot of this. And both these pages, one thing that's really important to note is these are all signs, but these are also causes. Like some of these actually cause it and they're a result of it. And you're kind of in this circular path that you just can't get out of. One thing causes the next, and now it becomes a new symptom that's caught. And it's like you're in this trap and you don't know how to get out. Okay. So let's talk specific hormones. We're going to talk about estrogen and estrogen dominance. Now, estrogen dominance, a lot of people think, you know what, my estrogen is not high. Maybe you had it tested. That's not the only thing that leads to estrogen dominance. Okay. And I'm going to really dive into this because you don't actually need to have not just high estrogen causes estrogen dominance. So the two are not the same. High estrogen is not always, high estrogen is estrogen dominance, but not all estrogen dominance means you have high estrogen. And you'll know how I explain it in just a second. Cortisol, so we're going to talk about cortisol, which is also a hormone, and what elevated cortisol levels do, and then insulin, specifically insulin resistance. Okay, so let's talk about estrogen dominance. Scenario 1 is too much estradiol, which is a type of estrogen. If you are on this call and you are in baby making mode, that's a good thing. You want to have an elevated level of estradiol. Everyone else, if it's staying elevated and you are not trying to make babies, your body should be past the stage of making babies. Too much estradiol is not going to be a good thing for the body, and it's going to push you into estrogen dominance, and you're going to be feeling those symptoms that you wouldn't if you were 25 trying to make a baby, okay? Scenario number 2 is an overtaxed liver. So there are 3 types of estrogen, not just one type, and 2 of them are the ones that we want the liver to break down into the better type of estrogen. That's not the proper medical term, and I should have said this earlier that I'm not a medical doctor, okay? I am just someone that studied hormones and I share this information freely, but I'm not a doctor, okay? Now, so the terms I'm using, bad estrogen, the 2 that we want to eliminate from our body. So the liver's job is to break these down after the estrogen has been metabolized or used up. However, if your liver is overtaxed, it's not going to be able to break this down into the 3rd type that we want. Now, why do we want that 3rd type? Because that 3rd type is going to help block the other 2, and the other 2 potentially are cancer causing when they are there in abundance. So why would our liver be overtaxed? Well, our liver might be overtaxed if there's too many toxins coming into our bloodstream, maybe from skincare, maybe from pollutants in the air, maybe from drinking too much alcohol. Anything that is going to tax the liver might take the liver away from the other job it needs to do, which is breaking down estrogen. And so this is going to throw you into estrogen dominance. All right. Scenario number 3, an imbalance of progesterone and estrogen. So what's really interesting here is even if you don't have high estrogen, if estrogen and progesterone are not balanced, you're going to have estrogen dominance and all of those symptoms that I talked about. Meaning, if estrogen is right where it's supposed to be, but progesterone is low, which, believe it or not, is more common than you may think, and progesterone is low, so now estrogen is actually where it's supposed to be, that is considered estrogen dominance, and it could lead to those symptoms that we talked about. So as I mentioned before, it's not necessarily that estrogen is high, it's just that estrogen is dominant, okay? All right, so let's go back to the causes of estrogen dominance. I kind of covered some of these, but I want to get into them a little bit more. A sluggish liver, and I talked about why a sluggish liver could cause this to happen. Now, poor gut health is really important too, because there's a specific type of microflora that we are supposed to have that helps to excrete the estrogen that we don't want after it goes through the liver. Now, if your gut health is not there and you don't have the microflora that is supposed to do this job, then it's not going to do it properly. And believe it or not, when I first learned this, it was just absolutely wild. We actually secrete excess estrogen through our bowel movements. So if you are not having a daily bowel movement or a regular bowel movement, you definitely could find yourself in this trap here. right? And once again, I'm not a doctor, but I am going to say, imagine if you thought you have all these issues and you could solve it by improving your bowel movements, right? Instead of all the other ways that are out there. So poor gut health is going to play a huge role because it is absolutely needed to help eliminate those two types of estrogens that are broken down in the liver. So maybe your liver is healthy, but now it needs to go to the gut and the gut can't finish the job that it's supposed to. So both of those play a huge role. Low fiber diet, once again, that's going to help you have bowel movements regularly. I'm sorry, a low fiber would cause it. So we want to have a high fiber diet so we can help to improve gut health. Nutritional deficiencies is a big one, okay? So the endocrine gland needs raw ingredients in the form of vitamins and minerals. It needs them in those forms to be able to produce hormones correctly. And if it's not getting them, it is not going to be able to do its job. Simple as that. And then, of course, there is genetic predisposition, stuff like low progesterone, right? Like I knew that I had low progesterone and so did my mom. So those are things I can't directly affect, but I can start to look at those other areas in order to improve in the other buckets so that my genetic predisposition is not going to be the main reason that I have issues, okay? All right, let's talk about insulin. I love talking about insulin because I come from a family of a lot of diabetics, all right? But here's what's crazy. I'm not talking about diabetes right now. I'm actually talking about something that if you get type 2 diabetes later on in life, this is the stuff that's happening 15 to 20 years earlier that we don't think is an issue, but this is the real issue. And that's insulin resistance that is caused by imbalance of sugar, okay? So there's hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia, all right? So hyperglycemia would be like excessive hunger, excessive thirst, weakness or fatigue. You are overeating sugar and there is too much insulin coming in. Sorry, your insulin's coming in to help because of all the sugar that you're eating, right? And your blood sugar levels are still staying high because you're not getting enough insulin. Hypoglycemia is actually you have more insulin than the sugar you're eating. Some people think in this bucket, oh, it's no big deal. I have low blood sugar, so I don't ever have to worry about diabetes. That's actually wrong. There's a good chance in this bucket that your pancreas is overproducing insulin. And so there is something going on and it could still completely lead to diabetes down the road. Let's forget diabetes though for a minute and let's just talk about sugar and insulin, okay? So anytime you have spikes in sugar and insulin levels, you're going to find yourself in a place where you have an imbalance, a constant up and down. And that constant up and down is actually more dangerous for your body than later on when you know you're type 2 diabetic. Because if you know you're type 2 diabetic, you can do something about it. And even if you never, hopefully do not ever become type 2 diabetic, this up and down of insulin and sugar can actually be quite alarming if you're worried about your hormone levels. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what actually happens. Sorry, we're going to go back to insulin. So when insulin is secreted into the body, all right, one, it affects gut health. Why does it affect gut health? Because our gut is supposed to be balanced with the correct microflora, right? But if you have too much sugar, it could start producing candida, which throws off the gut, all right? Another thing that happens with insulin, and this is the one that like is just wild to me, is insulin triggers cortisol levels. So when you eat sugar, your insulin levels go up and insulin directly impacts cortisol, okay? Now, cortisol affects progesterone. So how does cortisol affect progesterone? When the body is in stress, any type of stress, it's going to secrete cortisol, right? But you know what the body's also going to do? It's going to take a break on producing progesterone. Now stay with me here. Do you guys remember what I said earlier? What happens if you have low progesterone? You have you have an imbalance of estrogen and progesterone. So if the body takes a break on producing progesterone and your estrogen is either right where it needs to be or it's high, let's just say it's right where it needs to be. Now you have an imbalance, and an imbalance of progesterone and estrogen causes estrogen dominance. So do you see how all these hormones are all connected? Progesterone, cortisol, and insulin, and they all lead down the same path. Okay, so that's why it's so important not to just look at one bucket and say, well, I'm stressed, so cortisol is important, but I don't think the other two don't really affect me. They're all linked. So even if just one of those buckets affects you, the whole big picture is going to be affected. You want to think of hormones as like 3 stools. Okay, so if one of the stools was liver, the second one was gut health, The third one would be sugar. And it's not that it's cortisol, insulin, not all the hormones. It's that those three stools are what's holding it up. And so sugar and insulin actually have a really big impact on the other two hormones. All right, I had to put meditation on here because when it comes to cortisol levels, there are a couple things you can do. And we're going to hear about them later on, just a few of them. And those are taking the right kind of supplements to really help with cortisol levels. And then the third one truly is meditation. And I am not a fan of meditation, I will tell you guys, but there is a direct link between meditation and lowering cortisol levels. Okay. And I hope you were able to see like that link between all of it and how important that is. Okay. All right. Next. Okay. 5 changes that you can make now. So I want to talk to you about a couple things that you could literally do tomorrow to start to see a difference in all of the things that we just talked about. Okay. 1, don't drink coffee on an empty stomach. I did not say don't drink coffee, so don't come at me because I love my coffee in the morning, but try to have a bite with your coffee if you can. And does this mean you have to do it forever? Or if you're doing intermittent fasting, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. While your hormones are out of balance, take a break on this, okay? So you don't raise your cortisol levels, all right? We want our adrenals to take a little bit of a break on the cortisol, okay? So it doesn't mean that you can't go back to drinking coffee on an empty stomach once your body is really in a good place. But if you are struggling right now and you know all those buckets are being affected, this is something you really want to think about. Okay, work out less and work out different. There's a lot of research out there and you should probably do your own, but from everything that I've read and seen, certain workouts when you're really out of balance are not going to make it better for you. And the ones that I've seen have the highest negative effect are going to be the ones that constantly raise your heart rate. Okay. For example, like a HIIT workout. You actually probably want to think about yoga. Strength training is actually a good one where you're not raising your heart rate too high, or keep your cardio to a couple days a week. Don't mix it with your weights. Okay. So there has been research that says if you can kind of play around with the way you're doing your workouts, then you're going to see just the big hormone picture improve. Okay. On alcohol, don't hate me. You guys, I talked to you about the effect of the liver. So this is just a big one. Take a break. Does it mean you can never drink again? God, no, I would never tell you that, but cut back. You want to give your liver a chance to heal, to do its job properly, especially if you've got like years of buildup. And buildup is not just from alcohol, right? Even if you don't drink, it's your liver having to do all those jobs of removing toxins. If you're home cleaning, supplies aren't what they should be, your skincare. I don't want you to feel like you have to overnight change everything in your life, but start to think about your liver and giving it a break. Fiber. Okay. So this is a big one. 25 to 30 grams is what you really want to shoot for. And I always recommend just start tracking because it's going to be an eye opener when you see exactly what that number is, right? I've had folks track and they're like, I cannot believe I only got 8 grams of fiber today, right? The one thing I don't want you to do though, is go from 8 grams to 25 or 30 grams in one day, because you are not going to like me very much. So slowly build up on that, right? Like if you see that you're at 8 or 10, try adding a couple grams and track it until you can get yourself to 25 or 30, and then mentally just go, wow, so that's what it takes to get to this many grams of fiber. Okay. And just take it slow. Make sure too, if you're increasing fiber, you are super hydrated. Go to bed during your prime melatonin surge. So this is really cool. And I love this concept. You probably hear a lot, go to bed earlier, but actually it's when your body has this like prime surge of melatonin. So for me, like what I noticed about myself is if I sleep around 9 p.m., it's perfect. I can make it the whole entire night and have a really good night's sleep. If I wait till 10 p.m., I actually sleep worse. And that's because I did not take advantage of my melatonin surge. We each have and you don't know what that is. It's different for all of us, right? So you kind of want to try out a few different times and see and track when you have your best night's sleep. But your body will have a certain time where it gives you like this melatonin boost and it'll carry you through. But if you stay awake from when it starts, you're actually not taking advantage of that melatonin surge, right? So you want to find your sweet spot, right? And that's going to help quite a bit with cortisol because your body is not feeling fatigued, and insulin resistance, because when you are tired and you're not sleeping, you're probably going to reach for sugar a lot more. All right, you guys. So these changes that I mentioned, those 5 areas, are going to make a difference for you. However, it might not be enough. And I can tell you, when I went down this path, I knew that I wanted to make a change. I was absolutely all in to make a big change. So you might need some help so that your liver and your gut are fully supported to get to where they need to be, so that your body can actually find that place of balanced hormones. And I hope now that I explained exactly why hormones could be out of balance, now you see, okay, I can understand what I would need to do, right, to get them to a better place. My liver, my gut, maybe you don't know the exact path, but you could see why focusing on these areas can have absolutely massive benefits. I think a lot of times people think naturally balanced hormones, oh my God, how would I do that, right? Because hormones feel like this thing and you can't necessarily weigh it or measure it without a lab test, right? And even if you do, does it tell you exactly what part of your lifestyle needs to change? Not usually, right? They just throw a pill at you. So I hope by explaining it, you have these light bulbs, these aha moments that help you see this can actually be something I make a difference with. So I'm going to pass this on to Serena so she can talk about the program that actually, let's see, let me back here. The program that we've created to help you achieve hormonal balance naturally.
Yay. Oh my gosh. What was anyone like ahaing the whole time? Or I have that, I need that. That's me. Yes. We all were. No? There you are. Hi. All right. So Zainab, do you want to share? I guess we both can't. Oh, you're muted. I don't want you to be muted.
Do you want me to keep going through the program?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me come back here.
Just because now I don't want to keep swapping and sharing screens, but yeah, go.
Yeah. Hold on. I will go back in there. Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we can both kind of talk about it. So that's not what we want though. Okay. Okay, so this is a 14-day hormone reset workshop. And I want you to think about, in 14 days, you can truly set yourself up on the right path to see a difference and develop the habits that are going to keep you heading in the right direction with your hormones. That's really the goal of this 14-day program. Okay, so what do you actually get as part of this 14-day program? You're going to get a personalized supplement plan based on your age, genetics, and lifestyle. And this is huge because so many companies are talking about hormones right now, promoting hormone, programs. But if it is not a personalized supplement plan, I would run the other way, right? Because personalized supplement is going to give you what you need, and it's not going to give you a bunch of junk that you don't need. Because I'm going to be honest, guys, if you're taking stuff that's a cookie cutter program and you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, it's going to be junk if your body doesn't need it. So we want to just give you what you do need, and that's really important. So this is a personalized supplement plan, a complete workbook with in-depth information, meal plans, and recipes specifically for the hormone protocol. You're going to be in a group so that you'll receive daily posts with information and hormone health, an accountability group with daily trackers and goals so that you can track everything you're doing, fiber, the supplements that you need to be taking, whatever your personal goals are, and access to private Zoom call with Shaklee doctors to answer your specific questions. Okay.
So before you go, don't go any further. So I posted the link to our group, the Wellness Club. That's where all the magic happens. Just even if you aren't going to be a part of our hormone group, I want you in that group, because now that we've talked about all of our, our dirty secrets, we should probably be in that group together. But how cool. This is something that I know we all need. Zaina and I are really good at doing this together. So we are kind of accountability. We're like life partners, but we both are married to hot men. We talk to each other day in and day out about the things that we do throughout the day to just kind of elevate our wellness. But when you know that on Tuesday you take a different supplement than you do the following week, and you get to be a part of a group where it's actually telling you today's the day that you're taking XYZ, you're going to show up, you're going to see what you have to do that day. You're going to know that you're not alone, and you're going to do it, right? When we're left to our own devices, the big, crazy, chaotic world gets in the way. And who takes a back seat? Not our children, not our husband, not the dinner, not the horse competitions. We end up taking a back seat. So these groups, the word accountability is such a thrown around word. It's just an opportunity for you to level up your wellness with like-minded women, and we hold ourselves accountable. But Zane and I have been doing this for, gosh, so many years.
2015,
14, we probably
13, longer,
yeah.
longer.
So having that daily tracker, that will change in this group. It won't be the same every day. It is really, really imperative to seeing the results that you want to see. I just want to touch on that.
All right, so let's talk about exactly what these bundles look like, okay? So this is the basic hormone support group, okay? And you do get access to the 14-day hormone reset group, the one that Serena was talking about with the accountability, the ebook, meal plan. And this package right here, see where it says me, this is Meology. You're actually going to take a short assessment so that every one of you on this call over here could potentially have a completely different packet of supplements. And that's the heart behind this, right? So you're going to take a short, assessment or quiz, and it's going to spit out exactly what you need. And that's, like I said, this is the heart of it. And then the 7-day cleanse, there's a lot of cleanses on the market. And I will tell you, most of them that I've seen have a very big gut health focus. This one specifically is for your liver and your gut. There's a very specific focus in there for your liver. And I think for me, when I was going down this hormone path, that was a huge aha. It was like, what the heck, the liver? Like, gut health is so popular. Hormone health is popular, but even people that talk about hormone health, I didn't see a lot of people talking about the liver. The liver is huge when it comes to this, you guys. And so that was a big eye opener. I honestly didn't think much about my liver. I was like, what's the big deal, right? So liver health and gut health is going to be supported by the 7-day healthy cleanse. This is not like a juice fast. You're not going to starve. You're going to get awesome recipes. And most importantly, it works. And then you're going to take an assessment here for your personalized vitamins. Now, shake. I mean, I don't know. Serena and I have been drinking shakes like half of our life. I will tell you, this is not your typical shake for a couple of reasons. One, it is not loaded with a bunch of garbage that's going to overtax your system and sit inside your gut because you didn't really need it. That's huge. Two, it's got a product in there called leucine. Leucine is really important at any age, but especially if you're losing any type of weight, because how do you know that that weight is fat and not muscle? And I don't know about you, but that's not a risk I would want to take. So leucine preserves your muscle mass, which in turn helps to keep your metabolism functioning at a high level. Have you ever done a program where you lose weight and then all of a sudden 6 months later, you're in a much worse position? It's very likely because you actually ended up losing muscle mass, your metabolism started to decline, and now all of a sudden your body is in worse shape. So it's very important that if you do this program, whether or not you need weight loss, like it doesn't matter, but if you're going to get weight loss out of it, right? Because that is going to be a side effect of fixing all of this.
Preserve muscle mass.
Then we have to make sure that we're preserving your muscle mass. So this is the first option. Serena, do you have anything to add on this one?
Yeah. So if you're just getting to know me, I shook up a different shake for about 8 years. I struggled to choke it down, to be quite honest. I think we all did, because we were told it was good for us in the beginning. We're like, it is. But things change, and turning 38 was a challenge. Like I said in the beginning, the moment that Michael and I switched to Life Shake, things started to change almost within like the first 2 weeks. Now, this means we're consistent. This means this is our daily, like non-negotiable every day. Whether we're just shaking it up in a shaker cup or we're making it fancy in the blender. But, to give yourself BCAs at any time. So leucine is a BCA, a branched chain amino acid. And to give yourself this powerful BCA is so imperative, because as you get older, the first thing you start to lose is muscle mass, collagen, as you know. And so when you go to the gym and you go and you build these baby muscles, and then you go home and you go to bed, you want to make sure, right? You want to make sure that when you wake up the next day to work out, you're not burning, listen to this, the next day you go to work out, or the following day, you're not burning the newly made muscle you did the prior day at the gym. What do you want to make sure? You want to make sure you are always burning fat, right? If you are not taking in a branched chain amino acids now, and you do have a workout program, whether it's 2 days a week or 7 days a week, you are playing Russian roulette with your muscles. So that's why this is always a non-negotiable. Even sometimes I put 3 scoops just to get in an extra dose of protein, but this is by far the most ultra pure. Didn't make any sense. It's an ultra pure protein, and compared on the market, it's just incredible. So BCAAs, can't say enough about it.
Right. So that's your first option to join. Second option is going to be the perimenopause balance complex, a bundle, and it's going to come with a GLA complex. So this is if you're experiencing some of those symptoms, but you have not yet hit menopause. And even though it says perimenopause, I will tell you, for me, even if you're a little bit younger than perimenopause, but you're having any type of struggles with your period, this is still a great package to go with. So even if you're 30 and you're not experiencing perimenopause, maybe if you have any issues with your period, like bloating, if you're, mood swings from your period, this is hands down the best stuff I have ever used. I mean, I actually joke around that I am super mad at everyone that was at this company before me for not promoting enough that I knew about this product. It's going to help a lot of those symptoms, whether or not they're happening around your period too. That's what's really cool. So even if you're getting those symptoms earlier in the month, or this is the package that you're going to want to go with, and you're still going to get everything else in there too. Okay. Now, if you know that you're going through menopause, then this bundle is similar to the last one, but it swaps out the other product for menopause balance complex, which is going to help you through those symptoms specifically during menopause. Okay, so you can pick which of those 2 bundles. There's like $1 difference, right? So it's not a big deal, but it's just more important to focus on the product that you actually need. And then still everything else stays the same. This one right here is the one that's going to be truly, truly customized for you based on your assessment results. All right. So when you sign up, okay.
This is so fun. I said, this is so fun.
This is the best part. Yep. And you know what? This is not available. Like if you go on your own on a website, this is because you're on this call with Serena's team right now. So you were invited by someone. If you order the very first package, you're going to get this awesome, awesome night cream with your order. And if you order either any 200 plus, so it could be the bundle we gave you, or let's say there's some other product, if you guys want to actually get our skincare, if you really want to help your liver out. So anything you were to add to get to 200 plus, you're going to get our incredible conditioning mascara, which this product, I will tell you, there's not a lot of people that order it that don't keep ordering it, because it really is that good. All right.
So good.
Okay. So our goal is for you to walk away from this with a full understanding of hormones, your body, and have lots of tools to reverse the symptoms you're having. That is the goal for you hopping up here, is that you walk on this, you come onto this call, you walk away and you think, I know what I have to focus on. If you want to team up with 2 individuals that have gone through this, that have done this, that will guide you on 14 days, how to put all of this into practice, how to show up every single day. And so those habits become second nature. And what I'm a big fan of, I always say, like, the best motivation is results, right? Like when you feel better, you're motivated, is to help you feel those results early on. And that's what I love about this program, because you are going to notice a difference early on. So that, do you guys hear my kids? So that's your motivation, right? That's your motivation to keep going, is that it's working. All right, I'll hand it off to Serena now.
Oh my gosh. Can we just like give her a round of applause to say thank you? Yay. So much love for you. Thank you so much for doing that. You always blow my mind, even if I've semi-know all of this stuff day in and day out. It's so great to just get it into a condensed version. You might feel like you have a little hormone whiplash, and that's okay, where you're like, your head is spinning. We always want these calls to add value, but we never want to take up too much of your time, because we are crazy busy moms. But seeing your faces is like an incredible opportunity to know that, again, you're not alone. This is a community, whether you are thousands of miles away or we're, in the next neighborhood. These groups where you actually get to be a part of the community and do it all together, that's where it's at. So you're going to get this personalized journey, like I said, with the goal sheets, with each day, you know, what you're going to switch to, what your meal plans are going to look like. And that's where you're going to take your packages and then you're going to put them, oh, here comes the baby, and you're going to put them into play. Here's Zach. So we obviously would love to have you. And because we know that pulling the trigger is difficult, right? Like we take a back seat. So we know that sitting down to place an order, it takes a back seat because you're signing up kids for summer camp and you're, you know, being a chauffeur for all the sports that they're in right now. But that is why we feel very, very honored and privileged that we are gifting you to be like, you know what? No, here's your incentive. We're incentivizing you to actually sit down and put yourself first. The commitment though is the group, right? Yes, of course, there's a monetary commitment. And yes, of course, you can go off on your own. Hi, Zachy. Yes, of course, you can go off on your own and you can do that group on your own. Will it be as fun? Probably not. Will you see results? Probably yes. Will it be as fun? Let me add that part. No, it won't be. So we would love to have you join our community. And that's why we are giving you either that $50 Lash Boost mascara or that incredible Muscadine Grape anti-aging night cream. Your choice, you can choose. You'll just have to tell the person who invited you what gift you'd like. And if you are already on this journey with us, but you need to tweak the journey and hold yourself accountable more, or maybe see a little bit more consistency on your wellness journey, join the group. Okay. So if the date June 5th doesn't work for you, join it on June 5th and see how it goes, right? Window shop it. Have all your stuff ready, window shop it. If you're ready to party on June 5th, then it's go time. And we're going to go for 2 weeks and it's going to be incredible. I love how y'all are texting me right now. It's so fun. Like there's a chat right here. But yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask the person that invited you. Feel free to jot your questions in the wellness club. You all are already texting me them right now. Zane is going to address whatever's in the chat right now. Cause I think, to track your fiber, I would use My Plate or Fitness Pal. There's so many free ones out there.
Yeah, the only other question I think, so for,
Should I have my hormones tested?
yeah, should you have your hormones tested? You absolutely can, right? Like you definitely can have them. I would never tell you not to if you're concerned. The big thing really is if you do see something that's off, you have to decide what route you want to go, right? Is your doctor going to recommend medication? Do you want to try balancing them naturally first? I think what the real question also is, can I do this program if I haven't had them tested? Absolutely, right? So there's nothing in here that is going to have like a reverse effect if you don't have hormone issues, right? Because all the things that you're doing is just going to help your body function better. So improving liver health is not going to be a bad thing. Improving gut health is not going to hurt you, right? Even if your hormones are balanced, improving gut health can truly just help you. Okay, perfect, Dawn. So yeah, that's if you do not have your hormones tested, can I do the program? Absolutely. And I have had, both of us, Ray and I have had so many people go through this program successfully, you know, getting results, whether or not they got it tested. Okay.
Right.
And then Kim, for your question, I am going to defer you because I think you're an ambassador, right?
I don't see it.
Kim is, right?
Yes, but I don't see it.
Yeah. Message me about that because I'm going to defer you to the Shackley team on that one because there's a reason for it, but I don't want to misquote why, but there is a reason for it. Okay. And then let's get you the official answer for that.
Okay, thank you. She ended up going with like more a different route with our vitamins because of her doctor. So
okay.
just
Yeah, but for like the actual reason why it's in there too, they will give you like our that's what I love about Shackley, you guys, is like we actually have doctors on staff. So if there's something I don't know or something I don't feel comfortable answering, same thing with Serena, we don't defer to like a product expert or a sales manager. We literally defer to doctors. So you know that you're in the right hands, right? And that was like huge for me. I'm like, oh, we have doctors on staff? That's crazy, but we really do. And we have a medical affairs team that we can reach out to. Yeah. So if you ever have questions like that, we can absolutely get you the official medical response if you need it.
So Jennifer, you're asking how often to do the cleanse. So I do the cleanse once a quarter.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
And it's absolutely incredible. And we're the type of people that run the other direction. When you say the word cleanse, this is not like that. If you've never done our cleanse before, it is wonderful. You eat in abundance. It is, I don't want to say easy, but it is very simple. But the key to this whole thing, and the reason why we do these calls like this, is you are not your biggest cheerleader. You're really not. So we need this, right? We need to hold ourselves accountable. I'm using that word again in, these little VCR devices that we hold in front of our faces all day long. This needs to be used to our benefit. So these groups are not meant to take away from your life. This going, oh man, I'm going to go do a hormonal group. That seems so stressful. That's like so much extra time. I don't have the time. That's not what these groups are about. So this is only to add value. This is only for you to see a level up in your wellness from where you are right now. Where you're sitting right now, joining a group is going to help you level up your wellness.
I'm going to bump in too, Serena. So the question is, how often can you do the cleanse? And I think the response also, you said you just did one 2 weeks ago with Brooke, she's awesome. If you just did a cleanse, then you do have the option, if you want to do this group, to swap out that cleanse for another product. Okay. So if you want to do this group and you're like, I already did a cleanse, then what you're going to do for the 14-day program is the first 7 days, you're going to modify. Okay. You're not going to use the cleanse packets. You're going to follow a modified program, which we'll provide you. And then you can pick another product in place of it. There's another list. Okay. So if you're like, I really want to do the hormone reset and still get results, you still can. Just make sure you let whoever invited you know, you want to pick a different item and they'll give you a list to choose from. Okay. And then for the first 7 days, we'll have you do a modified program. Yeah, so I don't want you to feel like you can't join if you just did something. It'll just be a little tweaked in the first 7 days.
Awesome. Yeah, we did have a crew that just did the cleanse and it was pretty awesome. All right, friends. Well, it is almost 9 o'clock, which is also my bedtime. Let's go.
Melatonin surge, get off.
It's happening right now. But again, thanks for your time. And we really, really, really incredibly value it. So as people are wandering by, cooking dinner and folding laundry and answering, text messages, thank you. Thank you for giving us this time to see your faces, because there's a lot of us who, like me, I'm a military wife and I don't necessarily get to live, next door to my best friend or any friends, in fact. So being able to do this is kind of selfish. So thank you for giving me a little date night. I really appreciate it. And yes, please do us a favor and reach out to the person that invited you. Just say thank you. It takes a lot of guts to be bold to reach out and say, hey, we're having a webinar, which that is a very also word that I would run the other way. I don't want to go to a webinar. This is like more of a pop-up party, and they always will be for the future. But give them a little gentle high five back that says, like, thanks for inviting me. That was awesome. Because it is just that it takes a bold accountability to reach out to somebody and say, hey, we're having a little shindig tonight. We think that you'll benefit from it. So again, we hope you benefited from it. We'd love to see you for June 5th. If you scroll up in the chat right now, you're going to find the link. I'll post it again. You're going to find the link to our Facebook page. And feel free, just go in there and request to be added to that. There you go. And then I will post an event in there for June 5th and then RSVP, and we're just going to rock on. Go team, go. Do we sign off? Do we blow kisses? Do we high five? What do we do? Oh, Courtney's
got a boomerang going. That's what we got to do.
Hey, so prop your phone arm real quick. We're going to take a quick selfie.
Is it a boomerang, Courtney, or a picture?
And we're going to take a quick screenshot. If you can, we don't care what you look like. Come on. We just talked about hormones. You kidding me? I said the word leaky boobs. There's Les. All right. I'm giving it one more opportunity on the count of 3. And we say mad cow disease on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got 3 pages. One more. 1, 2, 3. Stay smiling. Another page. 1, 2, 3. Dang, guys. Have the best night, best afternoon.
Have a great night, everyone.
Love you. Bye.